What's up, everyone? I am Untamed Mando. How's everyone doing on this fine Saturday morning? Just Saturday morning this week. This week went by both fast and slow. Both fast and slow. I don't know how to describe it. How is everyone doing? Welcome in. Wicked, how you doing? For those of you who don't know or maybe new to the channel or whatnot, Wicked and I do a podcast every Sunday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, where it is called Unplugged with Wicked and Mando, and we both have a ton of fun there. Everyone has a ton of fun. You should as well. This week it is actually going to be on her channel. So if you are not, you should subscribe to her channel because she's amazing and all the things. Hello, smile a while for me. How are you? Oh, you have some opinions. You have some opinions on this book, and we will discuss the opinions. I am going to do something new today, or I think it's new. I think I tried to do this before, and I keep forgetting every Saturday, but I'm not going to forget. This Saturday, I'm going to play some music and tell me if you guys like it or not. Oh, that's a little too loud. There we go. Because, I don't like silence. I may be weird, but I just don't like silence. And some of the other cool YouTubers like Max and Salty and some of the other ones also do music. So let me know if it's, distracting or if it's not okay or cool or whatnot. Just let me know. So let us get into the book. So for those of you who don't know, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is a prequel to The Hunger Games. It is the story of President Snow and how he came to become a psychopath, more or less. I personally, this might surprise Smile, I actually enjoyed the book. I can barely hear it, but nice film. Okay. Maybe it's just a little loud for me. I will turn it back up to where it was a second ago. There we go. But nice feeling. Yes, thank you. It's supposed to just kind of be barely there. So it doesn't nothing can really be louder than me, but I'd rather not be distracting if possible. But anyway, so I actually kind of enjoyed this book. It's got its flaws. It does have its flaws. I won't deny that it does have its flaws. But Smile a While and I have differing opinions, if you can't already tell. But I'm not gonna be like, it's the perfect book, it's the most amazing book, it's the thing that it's the bee's knees or whatever phrasing they have these days, these kiddos. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting prequel. I think that, while this is my opinion, I think that it was, was it needed? No, it was not a needed book, but I enjoyed it. I liked it. So basically, plot without giving away too many spoilers. It is about President Snow and his background, his backstory a little bit, to where we are following Snow and we are following his mindset and his thought process on how he sees the world, how he's navigating through the world, and it's post-war Panem. It is post-dark times, and when he was about 8, I think, if I remember correctly, that's when the war started. He was around 8 years old, and it lasted for a few years. I don't remember. My timelines are probably off. I think it actually started when he was 5, and then it stopped when he was 8, and then the Hunger Games. So we come into President Snow when he's about 18. And the Hunger Games have been around for 10 years. This is a post Panem, or post all 13 districts Panem. It's where the 13th district is gone, blown away, and for those of you who have read the books, you know what I'm talking about when I say quotations, that when District 13 is gone. And the Snow family is not doing well. Apparently the Snows were really big in ammunitions tycoons, and they have a long legacy of being rich and powerful and people of the capital. And both of Snow's parents are gone at this point in time, and so he's being raised by his grandmother and his cousin Tigress. For those of you who have read the books, you'll know who I'm talking about when it comes to Tigress. She is actually his cousin. And so it's kind of him like them kind of scraping out a living, but still trying to act and look like they are. No, plinths were ammunition. Okay. Well, they were the Snows were in District 13 or District 13 war things and stuff and such. Yeah, his family's money was in District 13. Thank you for correcting me. This is why I like you. So basically, when District 13 fell, the Snows lost all of their fortune, and so they've been kind of eking out a living, trying to still make it seem like they're doing okay, when in actuality they're not. Yes, they lost. I just said that. The delay is not great. So yeah, they lost when District 13 fell. They lost all their money. So we're going. We're kind of following Snow through high school. He's in high school or secondary school. I don't remember what it's called. And this year for the 10th Hunger Games, there are going to be 24 students who are going to be the coaches for the 12 tributes, or the 24 tributes, because one boy, one girl, so 24. I can do math. And which I think is weird. Why would you do high school students trying to mentor other kids? It's just, that's a little confusing in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. Trying to think. And so 12 or 24 students are chosen, and Snow is chosen to be the mentor of the female of District 12. For those of you who, it's foreshadowing all the things. Yes, District 12 lady. And turns out in the reaping, her name is Lucy Greybeard. She's a singer. She's part of what's called a covey. They're musicians, and they kind of got stuck in District 12. They were kind of nomads, and then when after the war or during the war, I think it was during the war, the covey just kind of got stuck in District 12 and just became District 12 peoples. Not really, but anyway. So she is chosen, and she makes a very spectacular entrance for the reaping and all of that. It's quite entertaining. I'm not gonna spoil too many details. And Snow is a little upset at first when he realizes because District 12, as you know, in the Hunger Games, is not one of the rich districts. It's very lackluster. It's very poor. So he's just like, well, this is not good. And trying not to get ahead of myself. He's also realizing that one of the deans, the actual quote unquote creator or the idea behind the Hunger Games, is his academic dean, and he doesn't like him. And that's why Snow was given District 12, because the academic dean does not like him because of reasons. And so we kind of go through the story of Snow trying to mentor this District 12 tribute. I don't think she's like Katniss really at all, besides some musical talent. Like, she's very much an entertainer. She knows how to get the crowd she knows how to get the crowd eating from the palm of her hand. And so he's realizing that she could possibly win the games. And so he's going to try his very best to make sure she wins the games. And so that we kind of go through their friendship, and then eventually he kind of has more than friendship feelings for her. Yes, not at all like Katniss. Katniss, she's a gypsy. I agree. Smile. Show me the comment. Thank you. Yeah, so almost the polar opposite of Katniss, like in all sense of the word. What's up, Jacob? How are you doing today, good sir? How you doing? So yeah, we kind of go through the story of him trying to make sure that he wins the Hunger Games or his tribute, but in actuality, he's thinking about him winning the Hunger Games because if he wins the Hunger Games, or if his tribute gets to win the Hunger Games, he gets a full ride scholarship to university, and that's how he plans on one day taking over all of Panem and becoming president. That's his goal in life, is to gather power and become the president. So as we go along, he's kind of developing some feelings for his tribute and stuff, and some things happen along the way, and he kind of cheats and gets Lucy to win the Hunger Games by semi-cheating, because there are some... That's not announced still. Yeah. I'm trying to do a summary, very short. So yeah, we go through and come to find out he cheated, it was found out, and so now he's supposed to go and become a peacekeeper for District 12. And Lucy Gray wins the Hunger Games through... She's smart, she does what she's supposed to do. And she uses poison to poison some of the tributes. The reason why I say that is because that comes back later. And so he's taken to District 12. She's also going back to District 12 because that's where she lives. He's heartbroken because he's like, oh my God, my life is over, and I'm a peace officer and blah, blah. And so he finds Lucy because he loves her, and they kind of rekindled their relationship, and some finagling happens, and come to find out he actually had a really great opportunity, but he also ended up he ends a couple of people's lives while in District 12, and he's worried that he's going to get found out. So he and Lucy make a plan to run away, but then they find the murder weapon, and he's like, well, I don't have to run away. And so Lucy's like, oh. And she kind of sneakily gets away in a sense, because she realizes that she's the only witness to a an ending of life that he done. And so she thinks, okay, he's gonna yeet me. So he does try to actually like get rid of her, but he doesn't. Oh, another thing I forgot, when he gets to District 12, he hates mockingjays because he thinks they're an abomination to, whatever, to nature and the capital. So he comes in District 12, he hates them, which is why, like, later on, some foreshadowing in the later books why he hates the mockingjay, but that's neither here nor there. So he gets rid of the murder weapon, he goes back to the capital, and he begins his poisoning streak, where he starts poisoning all of his enemies. And I did not do a great job of summary or plot or anything like that, because I'm trying not to give away too many details, because I still think that people should read the book. I think it's a good book. There are some definite plot holes, some unresolved questions, and the writing, like, as far as like writing style, I just got done reading C.S. Lewis's Space Trilogy, and I feel like she was going from C.S. Lewis, who's extremely detail oriented and very descriptive, to Susan Collins, and it's just a different style, and so it kind of jarred me a little bit. But I like being able to get inside of a psychopath's brain and examine it, and understanding like what could have happened. It's kind of like an Anakin Skywalker story. You know what's going to happen, but you kind of have that little bit of hope, like maybe he won't be bad, maybe he won't fall to the dark side. When you know they will. And so this is kind of like one of those, it's kind of like the prequels of Star Wars, in a sense, where we kind of know the ending. We don't know exactly how the ending got there, but it's kind of cool to see the journey. I was always a prequel fan. I know a lot of people don't like the prequels for the reason that a lot of people feel like they didn't really add to the story, and that it was kind of unnecessary. We didn't need to see Anakin's fall to the dark side. But I don't know. I've always enjoyed the prequels. There's definitely issues that they have, but overall, I'd give this like an 8 out of 10, maybe 7.5 for some weird stuff there. But like reading Catching Fire and understanding some of the thought process behind Katniss. Oh, another thing, how she gets away, how Lucy gets away from Snow is that she says that she's gonna go hunt Katniss roots and gather some because they're gonna try and run away to the north. And so it's kind of ironic that the plant that she goes and gathers to get away from him is also Katniss's name. But anyway, she's also the writer of the Hanging Tree song, which I know a lot of people really like the song. I actually really enjoy the song, but she the lyrics are, she writes the lyrics and she's the one who created it. Yeah, he doesn't know if he yeeted her or not, which is why when in Catching Fire, or is it Mockingjay? I think it's Mockingjay, where a lot of people in the district start singing the Hanging Tree. It's kind of like a ghost that comes back to haunt him a little bit. I thought the history of the Hanging Tree song was the most interesting. Yes, I did too, because it has two purposes. Because when Snow comes into District 12, there's a hanging, and the person who's being hanged was charged with taking 3 people's life, but as he's about to be hung, he yells out to his lover to flee. And so if you know the lyrics, you understand where she got the idea from. But also it's about Snow, because he also ends up yeeting 3 people's lives, and he tells Lucy to run away for one of the yeetings. Let me click. Also, once again, another dystopian book has a character named from a Wordsworth poem. Yes, she actually, like, most of the what's surprising right now, and one of the reasons why I chose to read this book right after reading the Hunger Games book, is because a lot of her ideas actually come from this book, 1984. I'm seeing a lot of parallels between Panem and 1984's dystopian. There are too many notifications going. It also makes me second guess my logs and why Snow hates Mockingjay so much. Yes, also, like, during the hanging, the Mockingjays continued singing the person who's being hung's last words. But yeah, like, I'm currently, like, going through 1984. I just started, like, not that long ago. Can't remember the dystopian series with red and green and blue pills. Oh, The Matrix has red and blue. I don't know about green pills, but The Matrix has red and blue. Let me see. But poetry has been destroyed, and she memorized part of a poem. This is true. A lot of the Covey. So if you don't know, like, Panem is North America after a ginormous, catastrophic natural phenomenon has basically destroyed most of the world and most of the United States. And so Panem is kind of the remnants of the United States. And so a lot of old American, like, poems and things like that kind of continue forward just a little bit. Super interesting to see poetry tied to dystopian series. Definitely not the main. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about then with green pills. Maybe I have no recollection of that, but matched. But yeah, so there's some old songs that we would recognize in this book, but they're a little bit twisted, a little bit different. That the Covey sings, which I thought was interesting, like, understanding that music is kind of a thing still, even after, the fall of the United States. But once Snow comes into power, he outlaws all, like, entertainment and music in the districts. That's my understanding. And she's why is Lucy Gray and the Covey are the reason why he outlaws that, and why he's so hard on District 12. Because one of the other cool things that happens in the book is they end up going to a lake, and that's the same lake that Katniss and her father went to when they encountered some wanderers that were going to District 13. Thought that was kind of cool. But that's in Catching Fire, if any of you know what I'm talking about. So I like that kind of foreshadowing of after Snow left, because he dumped the murder weapon in the lake that Katniss and her father are at, and also the same lake that he and Lucy Gray like used to or went to at least once to go swimming and hang out. And he quarantined off that whole section of District 12 to where nobody could go to that lake. And many theorize that it's so so nobody ever finds the murder weapons and ties it back to him. Match borrows ideas from Hunger Games, but they both take those ideas from Brave New World in 1984. Yes. So Matched and Hunger Games. Yeah, they borrowed a lot. I haven't actually read Brave New World. That's on my list. I've got that in my bookshelf. I think. Yeah, I think I do. I think I purchased that recently. Yeah, it's very dystopian, very Orwellian. Brave New World. That she got a lot of her ideas from there. And once you read both of those books, you spot it immediately. So, but yeah, like I said, I like dystopian stuff when it's done well. I think as far as like some other stuff that's out there nowadays, I think it's still better than the majority of what we're getting nowadays. But does it stand up to like 1984 or Brave New World? No, I don't think it does. I don't think it stands that. It's good. Like, to me it's good, but is it a classic? No, I don't think it is. I don't think it's going to be a classic book that's remembered for years and years to come. Her Hunger Games series, yes, I would think that it's kind of a classic to quite a few people, especially like in my age group, the early 30s, maybe the millennial age. But yeah, I mean, it's not as good as the series in my opinion. I liked some of the Easter eggs that we got in there, some of the backstory on why Snow hates certain things and why he hates Katniss so much, and why he hates District 12 so much. So I kind of like understanding the thought process behind us, like people. That's just me. But yeah, it's got some weird stuff. The writing, it's okay. It's alright. It's passable. Hold on, let me read this. It'll have to exist for another 20 years before we can discuss classic status. I agree, Smile. But most people, like after I graduated high school, I went back to visit my high school, and they actually changed some of the curriculum to actually where a lot of people are required to read the Hunger Games. It's like a required reading. I think one took out. What book did they take out? They took out a book and put in the Hunger Games series instead. Biggest frustration was the attempt at making the reader sympathetic to the villain, or the reader a sympathetic villain. And I get that. I understand that. And I agree. It's not written well enough to be a classic. I think it's one of those that it's fun to read. I enjoyed it. But not everyone does. Probably 1984. Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably, it was either Animal Farm or 1984 where they replaced that and put in Hunger Games. And that was early 2011 is when I graduated. So like 2012 to 13 and 14 and stuff is when they made it required reading, at least at my old high school. Because I read Animal Farm, but I didn't read 1984 as required reading. So that's why I wonder if they actually switched that one out. Anyway, sidetrack. Like I said, out of 10, 7.5, 8, definitely could be better. I understand that a lot of people don't like the sympathetic villain trope, and I think it is overdone. I think that's why a lot of people didn't like the prequel series of Star Wars. But I like the prequel series of Star Wars. I like some prequels out there. I'm trying to think. I only watch, I think, 1 or 2 of the Magical Beasts and Where to Find. I watched 2 of, and I liked the first one, but I also like Johnny Depp, and so like I guess for me, I don't hate prequel books. I don't love them either. I'm kind of that neutral where if it's well written, cool. If it adds to the story, cool. If it doesn't, we don't need it. I have more problems with it as a theological issue. Yes, I if we wanted to go into theology, yes, this book has a lot of issues because the person who actually trains or mentors President Snow and makes him, quote unquote, like helps him become this monster that he becomes later on, that person's worldview is that humans are inherently evil and beasts and monsters, and that without control, they will kill each other. And that's what the Hunger Games are supposed to show, is that even the most innocent can become a wild animal. It would be like someone writing the Bible, so Satan is the hero. It's the thing, it's the taking of what is clearly evil and twisting it to be attractive. Oh, okay. I get that. Some people are just bad, evil, bad words. That is true. There are some people who are just evil to be evil, and that's just who they are. I guess, like, for me, I like to try and see that descent, because I also believe, like, when you're young, you can be manipulated into becoming evil. And I kind of like to see that fall. Like, what was it that made someone become evil? It is. It really is. I don't know. I guess I've also like really liked mental games, like I don't know, psychological thrillers. That's the word. We are born inherently sinful, and it's the parents' job to raise heathens into civilized adults. Yes, which he did not have because of the war. But I think the seeds were, like, for me, why I don't completely agree that he's all the way a sympathetic villain is because even in the early chapters of the book, you can see his narcissistic tendencies. You can see where he's only about his image, how he looks, gaining power, gaining wealth, gaining fame. That's what he's about from the very beginning, and he kind of gets sidetracked for a little while. I feel like that's how my opinion of it is. In the beginning of the book, you see where he's just selfish and he only cares about him and his, and then he gets sidetracked with a love interest, but then he goes back to his natural center. So that's why I just see the romance as a distraction from his normal goals. So in my mind, like, I don't see him completely as a sympathetic villain, because you still always see those underlying tendencies of he is about himself. He doesn't really care how he gets to power. He just wants to make sure his image is clean and clear. It's all about his image. And then he's like, "Oh, you're pretty and you like me. Let's be love interests for this long." And then he's like, "Wait a second. That's not going to help me gain my power." And so he just brushes it off. So that's me. That's my thoughts on the book. The movie is actually going to be coming out November 17th this year. So I'm actually going to see it because I'm kind of interested to see who all is or how they're going to get this story on the big screen. Do I think they're going to do it well? No. Do I think it's going to be better than Disney? Yes, it's going to be way better than what Disney's dishing out at us. And I'd rather see a mediocre show that's about a book than makes you think if Hitler had a stable, loving family, would he have been the monster he turned out to be? Yeah, that's my thoughts. Like, what if he decided not? Like, that's kind of where my intrigue comes in, is like, okay, he did turn out this way, but what if he didn't? What if there were other circumstances? So I'm most interested to hear the official renditions of the song. Yes, me too. There was quite a few songs in this one, so I haven't liked the attempts I found on YouTube. Yeah, I think that's the crux for me, is what if he didn't become completely evil? What if there was a chance he didn't? And kind of seeing how that played out, how that works. So for me, it's a thought experiment. But yeah, so here's the cast. We've got Rachel Zegler. I don't know who most of this cast is. The only one I actually know is Peter Dinklage. I don't need to see that in a movie. My imagination is already too vivid. Oh yeah, I understand. And if you don't want to see this movie, that's fine. I want to support projects that aren't Disney. just me. So yeah, we've got Lucy Gray, got Commander Hoff. Okay, I didn't picture him Asian. Huh. That's pretty good looking. That I'm gonna love seeing him as High Bottom. Oh, Lucky, and then she's gonna be really good as Dr. Gowd. I can't remember her name now. Okay, we don't have a. Okay. Wait, where's Sejanus? Okay, Sejanus. Okay, let's look here. Now I want to see who this is. Dr. Gall. Thank you. Of course, it's going to be diverse. We all know that. Oh, okay. So this is who. Let's go look at his IMDb. Yep. That's not bad. That's not a bad. Oh, I didn't show you guys. Dang it. Let me stop sharing and share who this guy is that's going to play Sejanus. Sejanus is kind of like Snow's best friend that Snow actually hates. That's how I saw him. Yeah, that's not bad. So far, like, the cast is all right. I think the cast is gonna be like pretty good. I'm kind of curious why they're making the evil Dr. Gall. Yes, spot on. For what my mind pictured, spot on. So most of the cast I like. I think it's gonna be good. I'm excited because most of these people are besides High Bottom. I didn't picture High Bottom as a smaller person. I really didn't. I pictured him as he was always walking around high, and so that's where they got the. I don't know, but I think it's gonna be hilarious. Very Boy Next Door, yes. The Gall, yes, the Gall. Yeah, he has a. We're not gonna go too much into detail about Sejanus's fate, which I'm still sad about, even though I knew it was gonna happen. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on. Same. I totally thought him as a taller, thin man. I did too. But I think this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be freaking hilarious. I'm excited. I'm gonna laugh. See, like, even if I don't like the movie completely, I'm gonna laugh my bottom off. I'm here all week. Anyway, I think it's gonna be hilarious what they do with High Bottom because he's gonna be a small person. Anywho, literally little man syndrome. Yes, I mean it still fits. Like it's still like in my mind fits. Like it's not who I imagined, but I'm not disappointed because it makes sense for how he acts. Though he acts all high and mighty and big shot when in actuality he's just a little man. Yeah, he turns out to be on the good side, which then I'm just like, is he really though? Is he really? I don't know. I guess for once he can be I don't know. I never really saw him as a good guy. Even in the end, I saw him as somebody who basically let the circumstances around him define who he became, and him being bitter at, people who really, I don't know. I mean, yeah, he never liked the games, even though he was technically the inventor of them, but he was horrified. Which I understand that, and I understand he feels guilty, and it's his fault that they're a thing, but I don't know. He just, there was still a bit of a plot hole. Yes, that's one of the plot holes. I'm just like, Yeah. Yeah, I will sloppy wrap up. Yeah, I would have liked for her to end the story a little bit better than that. I don't know, maybe her publishers were trying to make her finish the book faster. I don't know. But yeah, that's, like I said, is it a perfect book? Absolutely not. But is it just a nice book to read if you're into psychological thrillers and kind of prequel-y things? Yeah, I think so. So, all right. Those are my thoughts on The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Am I going to watch the movie? Heck yeah, I'll do a review. Was it one of my favorite books? No, not one of my favorites. But I'd say at least top 20. Probably top 20 books that I like. Didn't make the top 10, but top 20. So I give it a B. C plus B. Nice. It's all right. So yeah. That was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be. But I've got other things that we're going to talk about today. Besides the songbird or the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And the title is actually very fitting. I will say that. It's kind of a foreshadowing, but also like, oh my God, not even in your top 200. Okay. Yes, I have seen your bookshelves. I might one day catch up to you because my bookshelves are bursting at the seams. Oh, also, I'm sure most of you actually, if you've read a bunch of books and have a bunch of books at your home, I finally downloaded an app to where I'm gonna have all of my books in my my book titles in my phone, so I remember what books I do and don't have because there's a lot. There's a lot. Anyway, so gonna switch gears for a second and have some fun with this next article. I think it's funny. I don't really care either way, but I think it's funny. So apparently, hold on. I would like to have the Hunger Games series just because it's... Yes. Right, it's not politically correct now. That's the other reason why I want to support the film that's coming out, is because it's not all about the women power. It's just a cool story. I mean, technically Katniss, yes, but she shows her downfalls as well and stuff, so. But I don't own any of them, and they're definitely not the first book I'd recommend to a kid to read. Oh, no. I wouldn't. That's not my first recommendation for a kid, no. I'd say teen, like late teens, early 20s. I think that's when I first read them, was around that age. But yeah, so HBO might be trolling Amazon's Rings of Poop with a new ad, which I think is funny. I'm I think they should. It's barely been 2 days after Warner Brothers Discovery officially unveiled Max, and already the new streaming service seems to be trolling the competition. I really hope the competition trolls each other, because I think it's better for everybody when they're just like making fun of each other. A new online ad featuring Game of Thrones appears to take a swing at Amazon's Rings of Power. The first spotted by Hollywood Reporter, like they're very reliable. The new ad shows Daenerys Targaryen. I said that right. Hold on. I said her name correctly. Sitting on the Iron Throne with the tagline, "The one to watch when you want to rule them all." Oh, it's a little on the nose. But hey. I'd want them to read 1984, Brave New World, Utopia, Animal Farm, Fahrenheit 451, Feed and Unwind first. Yeah, I agree. I think they should read those first and then read The Hunger Games to see where she got her ideas from. Let's see. The one to watch when you want to rule them all. Very on the nose, but I like it. they're looking for a fluffy dystopian after that, then Hunger Games would be higher on the list than Divergent, which is just senseless yeeting. I still haven't read the Divergent series. That's one I do want to read eventually. Yeet! Well, and they need to know what quality literature is before they... Hey! Okay. Yes, it's not a classic, but damn, all right. You really hated that book. See, I'm more neutral positive, and you're just like, get rid of it, burn it. But hey, it's gonna have differing opinions. That's why we're here. Anyway, obviously, one ring to rule them all is the iconic line from Lord of the Rings. However, the tagline for the ad also works in the context of Daenerys, who wanted to rule all of Westeros. But there does seem to be a clever hint of boasting at play. Modern literature does not really teach you what good writing is. This is true. If you want good writing, classics is where to go. Classics. Stupid ads, go away. Both Game of Thrones and its prequel series, House of the Dragons, were massive ratings juggernauts for HBO, but The Rings of Power wasn't so fortunate. More than half of its audience didn't even finish the first season. Yikes! I like this article, man. I really like this article. We know that the quality of what you read affects how you write, talk, and your logic ability. Are you calling me out, Smile? Are you calling me out? Excuse you. Anywho, we are... I really like this article. It's showing some hard shade at Rings of Power, and I am here for it. All right. While Amazon, like other streamers, provides only limited data, and internally, it held information even more closely than usual on the series, sources confirm that The Rings of Power had a 37% domestic completion rate. Customers who watched the entire series. Overseas, it reached 45%. A 50% completion rate would be a solid, but not spectacular result, according to insiders. The Rings of Power is still on track for a second season, but that's not the kind of numbers you want to see for a show whose first season almost cost $1 billion with a B. Max throwing salt in the wound probably doesn't help either. Yeesh. That was also a really short article. I expected that to be longer. Bro, see, this is what we like. Customers, we are not consumers. Customers want to see is like IPs going back and forth at each other. It's fun. It gets people engaged. It's fun to see, like, and of course Game of Thrones is very similar to the Lord of the Rings, and so it makes fun that they would kind of poke fun at each other, or they're supposed to, which in actuality, like as far as the books go, the Lord of the Rings outclasses and outshines Game of Thrones 1,000,000,000. But as far as like TV show quality, Game of Thrones is kind of winning out right now. No, just wanted to make sure we're not calling the Hunger Games quality writing. Hey. Hey, I can't speak the English correctly, and I thought about getting an I did seriously consider getting an English degree or a literature degree. I don't know why I can't. Like, the older I get, the less I'm able to speak English. Maybe I'm getting Alzheimer's. I don't know. Or the coffee's finally gotten to my brain. Who knows? But yeah, I think as far as like quality entertainment, TV series, Game of Thrones is winning out. But also, like, I've said this before and I'll say it again, I refuse to start reading Game of Thrones until George R.R. Martin finishes the series. I don't read things that are not finished because I get attached emotionally to a story, or at least I used to. I'm a little bit better now about getting emotionally attached and invested. You know what? Just because you have the brain cell today does not mean that I am not without a brain cell. I have half a brain cell. Thought you weren't supposed to be. I'm drinking decaf coffee once in a while. I know it has some slight caffeine, but it doesn't affect me because I can drink decaf all day long if I wanted to. I have a problem and I'm not gonna fix it. Anyway, but yeah, so getting on my rant about Martin and Game of Thrones, like many people have told me I should read Game of Thrones because it's really good. It's well written and all of the hoopla, but if it's not finished, I'm not going to read it. I have gotten burned one too many times getting involved in a book, a show, anything, and it's not finished. And it just, I don't like that feeling. I don't need your negativity, Smile. I don't need it today. Try Dandy Blend. Gives you the coffee flavor without the side effects you're supposed to be avoiding. We'll think. I'll look into it. But yeah. Anyway. So until that mother BMFer finishes his series, I'm not going to start reading it because I just don't. I don't like to start something that's not finished. But that's just me. I've been told it's great. It's a great series. So if you like it, read it. Cool. All right. Next on our list, Harry Potter fans. Most of you already know the news, but I'm going to talk about it anyway because I want to talk about it, my thoughts and my feelings. Which I like this article. I like the title of the article that I'm about to read because I think it's fun. So let's go in here. Harry Potter fans, or Harry Potter live action series officially confirmed by HBO Max as franchise bids adieu to Emma Watson, Daniel Radcliffe, and Rupert Grint. See, I never remember. It's Rupert. Oops. I thought it was something completely different. I never remember his name because he didn't really do much afterwards. He didn't. But also the three of them have kind of lost their minds and I don't really care about them anymore. I will say Emma Watson did okay in the Beauty and the Beast movie. I think she did well. Right? That is Emma Watson. Why am I thinking another? Never mind. So yeah. After rumors floating around for months, HBO just confirmed the Harry Potter live action in a teaser trailer. While it does look quite thrilling, with the original background score striking severe nostalgia in the hearts of millions of fans worldwide, some do seem quite conflicted. It was reported earlier that the initial plan was to reunite the original cast for the adaptation of The Cursed Child as a 9th movie. A lot of people thought that. A lot of people, The Cursed Child got mixed reviews. I still haven't read it yet. I have it. I haven't read it yet. Maybe I'll read it and give an honest opinion on it. However, Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe's alleged unwillingness to collaborate with JK once again seemed to have put it on hold. I will tell my thoughts afterwards. After that, rumors started spreading of HBO revamping the franchise for a TV series, although no official announcement had yet been made. Well, it seems like those rumors were indeed true, with HBO confirming it in the most Wizarding World style. HBO's plans for Harry Potter TV series. Although Harry Potter star Rupert did mention that he is more than excited to reunite with the castmates, with Daniel and Emma for a 9th movie, it seems their unwillingness has put it on the shelf. Their unwillingness, however, is not exactly unfounded, as the author JK has been facing a lot of backlash with her Yeah, Emma Watson did the live action Beauty and the Beast. Now you're making me second guess myself. You know what? We're just going to ignore that. Something she neither corrects or serves nor... I have IRL friends who agree with that statement. I do not care what she says. with her real life. To be honest, I am able to separate a creator from their creation, but I also understand and give credit to the creators. She created the Wizarding World. It is her brainchild. She can do whatever the hell she wants to do with her brainchild because she is still alive. If she wants to remake the whole thing, fine, whatever. I just won't. My head canon, it won't be canon. I've never actually seen her tweets, to be quite honest. I've seen like one of her tweets where she was, somebody had smacked talked her and she smack talked back. I thought it was justified. People have been sending her death threats. Like, y'all, come on. Like, no. And everyone's so sensitive about like transphobia. I get it. I'm going to choose not to make my personal thoughts on all of that super known, but these people keep boycotting Rowling, but saying that you can have Harry Potter in the Wizarding World without Rowling. I'm sorry, whatever you're huffing, you need to stop, because that's not true. Like, you can hate the creator if you want to, but you need to give her the credit that's due. Okay, off of my rant. Insider Jeff Schneider revealed the Hot Mic podcast that Warner Brothers allegedly tried to buy the movie rights from her to go for the 9th film. However, she demanded an insane amount, which made them realize they were stuck with her. Hey, all the backlash she's gotten, that's fine. She created the freaking thing. And WB doesn't need to have their hands on another product IP, in my opinion. If the War of the Rohirrim's good, I might change my mind. As such, the plans for a revamp of the old movies were made, which too she reportedly laid down some non-negotiable terms for. However, it seems that the production company and the author did manage to come to terms, as it seems like it's only a matter of time till the series will come out. Sorry, I'm not interested in Hunger Games, Game of Thrones, or Harry Potter. It's fine, Jacob. No, you're fine. You're fine. We're going to talk about Lord of the Rings in just a minute. My next article is a Lord of the Rings article. Yep. So they confirmed the TV series, and it's not going to be movies. It's going to be TV series, and it's supposed to be a faithful adaptation of the original books. Hope you have a safe trip, Smile. And don't you worry, it's fine that we have differing opinions on things. I think, to me, a faithful adaptation of anything is a good, like, I'm gonna go into manga for a quick second. Any manga or anime, like any anime that strays too far from the manga, usually ends up not being the best. Full Metal Alchemist, prime example. Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, very different. Brotherhood is way better because it sticks to the manga. So I don't know if I'm gonna watch it, but I'll give it a chance. I for sure will watch one episode. But yeah, I'm like, she's gonna be like right on, like dealing with the set and stuff. I will. Oh, also read Emma Watson. Oh, well, Emma Watson can just whatever. Anyway, yeah, fans are extremely conflicted. Yes, and I get the confliction because some of the casting choices for the movie were spectacular. Snape, perfect. Dumbledore, perfect. Hagrid, perfect. I get that. I don't think they're gonna do it any better, and that's kind of the issue with a lot of the Lord of the Rings, like them gonna remake some stuff. Like some of the casting, because some of the cast members unfortunately passed away. I don't think that it's gonna be like some of their acting, like some of the actors that were there, just not. It's not. I'm a little conflicted as well because I think like a faithful adaptation to the books, I think is going to be fabulous. But some of the casting choices, like I don't know how they're going to beat that. I really don't know how they're going to beat Snape, Dumbledore, Professor McGonagall, Hagrid. And I don't know, but that's my opinion. I will give it a chance. I'll watch one episode, see how I feel. Because hey, I say that I am all for faithful adaptations of things, and if I don't give it a chance, then I'm being a hypocrite. So, all right, what many of you have been waiting for, some Lord of the Rings news, which all of you have already done and already know about, but I want to talk about it because, y'all, it was back in theaters. Like, it's been 20 years since Return of the King. 20. I was 10. Like, what? I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters, unfortunately, because I've been busy. But for everyone who's gotten to see it in theaters, Twitter was on fire yesterday and the day before with respect for Tolkien hashtag going on. Like, it was amazing to see the Tolkien Fellowship come together like that. I'm not gonna like. I'm still sad that I didn't get to see it in theaters. I mean, I got to see it when it first came out in theaters, I think, if I remember correctly. But Jacob, did you get to see it in the theaters, or anybody that's in the chat? Did anybody get to see it in theaters this past weekend or a couple days? I think it might still be in theaters. You were 16? Wow, you're not that much older than me. I think we've already established that. It's crazy. Okay, so it's April 13th through the 20th. So there's a chance. I might get to see it. My old brain can't remember how old I was. I have an ad blocker. Why the heck? Anyway. It's crazy. Yeah, they're talking about the War of the Rohirrim. I really hope the War of the Rohirrim is good. I am so frustrated with so much bad going on with Lord of the Rings and Tolkien's brainchild. Like, it's not acceptable to me how Amazon is treating Lord of the Rings. Ugh, it's sad. It's super sad. Oh, okay. So that's something prior to the film, audiences will be treated to an introduction from Elijah Wood discussing the impact of the trilogy. Heck yeah. I'm excited. There's a Lord of the Rings. Okay, there's a D&D extra. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I like D&D. That movie. Official description of the series is in the conclusion of Tolkien's epic masterpiece, The Lord of the Rings, as armies mass for a final battle that will decide the fate of the world and powerful ancient forces of light and dark compete to determine the outcome. One member of the Fellowship of the Ring is revealed as the noble heir to the throne of the King's Men. Like, bro, I got goosebumps just reading that. Yes, Roar of the Rohirrim. Like, just reading that, like, every time I watch Lord of the Rings, even, especially the extended edition, like, every time I watch it, I get freaking goosebumps. Like, most movies nowadays don't give you that feeling, that just awe and just wonder. Like, I don't understand why people want to say that the Lord of the Rings needs to be updated. It doesn't. It really doesn't. Like, leave it alone. If you want to do like prequel stuff, fine. But stop messing with the lore. Respect the lore. Heck yeah, I plan on seeing it in theaters if I can. Like, I don't know. It makes me want to reread The Lord of the Rings again. I have too many things I need to read soon, but 1984 is one of them. I will let you guys know my thoughts because I actually have not read it all the way through before. They switched it out when I was in high school. First, it was called The Kite Runner. They switched out 1984 for The Kite Runner, which is a good book. I enjoyed The Kite Runner. If any of you have ever read the book, you should. If any of you have not read the book, you should read it. It's pretty good. So the next topic, let me see. Oh, come on. I see the comment. Let me highlight it. Thank you, StreamYards. That magic has left movie showmaking. It has. Very few things can give that like goosebump, like hair on the back of your neck, like standing on end, like feeling, like watching the Rohirrim crest over and see what's going on with Gondor, and Theoden's just like, we're going in. Doesn't matter. We're probably gonna die, but we're going in. And he just that run of the Rohirrim is just so epic. You can't beat that. No amount of updating is gonna give you those same feelings, but why do I know? I'm just a toxic fan. I'm just toxic. So we're gonna do a complete like 90-degree turn to a different direction because I saw this article and I was like, talking about Frankenstein. Frankenstein was a classic book. We talk about books here. Well, let's see. So I actually haven't read this yet. So this is going to be first time me reading. So basically, Legendary Comics crowdfunding graphic novel adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, starring Boris Karloff and using actors' likeness. I saw the old movie, the old black and white movie. It was amazing. It was also terrifying. All right, so Legendary Comics, the publishing arm of Legendary Pictures, is bringing to life a graphic novel adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein that for the first time in print uses the likeness of the man who originally brought Frankenstein's monster to the screen, Boris Karloff. For the creature, there's a catch, though. They need your help. This already looks so amazing. That's cool. Yeah, it looks cool. Like I said, I saw this and I was like, I remember seeing that movie. This is looking nice. Like, I think it's super cool. So it's a graphic novel, but it is still a novel, and a novel is a book. So the project is called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, starring Boris Karloff, and it's being funded by a Kickstarter campaign that sweetens the deal by placing the book in a double bill with the 2020 Rando award-winning work Bram Stoker's Dracula, starring Bella Langsley? I don't remember. Like the Dracula reimagining uses the image of Bella, I'm just gonna say Bella, as the Count. The two come together in a one-time offer as an exclusive perk for backers, and this 2-pack is a momentous occasion as it's the re-release of Dracula graphic novel after a 3-year hiatus, made in conjunction with the Lugosi estate, cooperation from Lugosi Enterprises. The same shall be the case for Frankenstein, starring Karloff. Bro, this looks so freaking cool. I am Dracula. The actor's only daughter, Sarah Karloff, acts as an executive consultant, while Dracula artists and designers by Kerry Gamil and Richard Starking and Elle Gehring reunite to put Boris Karloff back humorously. Humously? I don't know. Good old Boris, that's right. Into the role that made him famous. A faithful adaptation. Heck yeah! A faithful adaptation to the graphic novel comes in a 120-page complemented by Dracula's 200-page of terror. Legendary has already reached 98% of its $75,000 goal with almost 1,000 backers. Well, hell yeah, look at that. Freaking yeah. Wow. Okay. That's freaking amazing. And if you like classics like Frankenstein and Dracula, like, bro, Bram Stoker's Dracula starring the likeness of Bela Langsley was so well received. The natural next step was to team with Sarah Karloff and Karloff Enterprises to bring an all-new version of the creature to life, featuring the iconic face of actor Boris Karloff, said Robert Napton. I hope I said that right. Napton is the senior vice president of comics at Legendary and issued a statement that was picked up by Bloody Disgusting. That's the name. The Mummy. Oh, that would be cool. Interviewed for the Kickstarter campaign. Let's see. I think that would be cool too. The Mummy. Interviewed for the Kickstarter campaign, Sarah adds, "My introduction to Legendary Comics was their fantastic work on the Dracula graphic novel. When they approached me to do one with my father as Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, I thought it couldn't happen soon enough. The campaign began on March 1st and runs until the end of the month." Aw. So it's already gone. "It should have no problem reaching its financial goal, and a copy can be yours, but you better better act fast. Backer." Yep. Okay. Dang it. So it's already done. But hey, that's so cool. Like, that's amazing. There is still talent out there, boys. There's still some talent out there. I'm actually going to look into this, see how much it costs, because we need to support alternative and independent things if it's good. Like, don't just support it just to support it. If it's good, and it's a good alternative, support it, in my opinion. Dracula. It's so nice. Sorry, I'm just like staring at it, but I just like, holy cow. All right, let's see. I have another thing. Since we're on comic books and manga and stuff, kind of, we're gonna talk about this because this is kind of a hot thing right now. It's called the Assassination Classroom. Florida parents call for Assassination Classroom manga to be banned from school libraries due to its depictions of violence. Most of the classics have depictions of violence. Like what? Like, for those of you who don't know the plot, let's just keep reading to see if it's actually going to talk about what the plot is. But I will say, Assassination Classroom, one of my favorite animes. As the saying goes, never let a tragedy go to waste. And in searching for a target to blame for the recent shooting in Nashville, a group of angry moms have shifted their actions from the usual favorite of violent video games to, you see, Matsui's, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, best-selling manga, Assassination Classroom. This has been around for years and years. Okay. Actually, I don't think it goes through the plot, so I'm going to say what the plot is. Plot is, this alien-looking dude has threatened to blow up the Earth, because he already blew up part of the moon, unless you can kill him by a certain time. And he also is going to, one of the stipulations is he's going to teach a specific classroom during this time. And one of them has to try and take him out, or supposedly. The thing is, though, None of those are real weapons. They're all BBs. Like, they all shoot little pellets because his actual weakness is plastic, or not a specific type of rubber. No, it's rubber plasticky thing. And that's how you can end it in him. And so, like, if any of the moms actually read the manga, they'd understand, like, it's not real weapons. They're pellet guns. I mean, there are some depictions of real weapons and stuff, but basically for a semester, they are supposed to try and take out this yellow goopy dude. Hello, Purple Valkyrie. How are you doing? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. We are now talking about a little bit of manga, but I talked about reading the prequel to the Hunger Games book, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and a couple of people have had some differing opinions. I think it's okay. I give it a B+. And my friend Smile a While says it's trash. I mean, I think it was fine. It's a prequel to the Hunger Games. Do I think it's classic material? No, but I think it's a nice book. I think it's better than what we're already getting anyway. But yeah, so I recommend reading it if you haven't or whatnot. But but now we're talking about apparently some Florida moms want to get rid of Assassination Classroom manga because it depicts violence. Yes and no. I think they're overreacting. If they actually read the manga, they'd understand that, like, yes, there's some violence, but this image, it's not what you think. These are pellet guns. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're lovely. You're lovely. Let's see. Okay, I read that. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, according to the Florida Standard, just days after a transgender person robbed 6 people, and including 3 children, of their lives at the Covenant School in robbed? You know what? Whatever. At the Covenant School, Nashville, parents in the Hillsborough County Public School District, that's a mouthful, began filing complaints over the school's library carrying copies of Assassination Classroom due to its depiction of students actively trying to kill their teacher. There's a reason for that. He's not... Oh my god. Well, that wouldn't be any fun at all, which is why I made the proposal to the nations in the world. Yeah. Basically, he's gonna say that he's gonna blow up the world, and so they have to try and find a way to get rid of him. So it's not the same. I don't know why people like to react like that. It's not the same. Anyway, serialized in why can't I say words? Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump from July 2012 to March 2016, Assassination Classroom follows the misfit students of class. Okay, it does give you a plot. It's just another blaming the wrong thing. Agreed, Jacob. Agreed. Part of their training, class must assassinate their alien junior high homeroom teacher, Koro Sensei, before the end of the school year. To make matters even sweeter, whichever student gets the that word, I don't think I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, will receive a 10 billion yen reward. Heck yeah. Those are not real knives. They're rubber. It's a comedy, y'all. Well, comedy, kind of. It's stating the obvious to say that the theme of this book series is disturbing in light of the prevalence of school violence, concerned parent of the Florida Standard, whatever. While the books have fictitious characters, the settings are realistic, she argued, before questioning, why do we have 70 copies of Assassination Classroom in middle schools? Why don't you read it? Why don't you read it and then find out? According to the Florida Standard, Matsui's Assassination Classroom is available in numerous middle and high schools throughout the district. At the same time of their articles writing, 45 volumes of the manga were being actively checked out of school libraries by students. These are BB guns. They're BBs. Anyway. Interestingly, these parents were not alone in their efforts to get Assassination Classroom removed from school libraries, as the nonprofit group Citizens Defending Freedom announced on April 10th that they were likewise planning a campaign for the removal of Matsui's manga from middle school and libraries due to its violent and sexually explicit content. None of these people have ever read Japanese mangas before. None of these people know what's going on. Like, read the material before you go banning something. Read it. Like, if you don't like it, like, yes, the cover can look weird, but like, nobody. Most of the classics have depictions of violence. If you don't know Purple Valkyrie, I'm reading through 1984 right now, because after I just read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Very fitting. Anyway, let's see. This is a nonpartisan issue. Citizens Defending Freedom's National Communications Director. Oh my God, that's a mouthful. Kristen Huber of Fox 13 Tampa Bay. We should all be able to agree that violence towards teachers and explicit sexual content is not something that schools should be glorifying or promoting, especially on taxpayer dollars. I don't actually see anything. Then what about the Avengers? What about Scarlet? What about Black Widow? Like, you let your kids see the Avengers, but you will that. Oh my God. Sorry. People will let their kids see Iron Man 2, Black Widow, and the Avengers that has Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson doing very similar things. I don't understand what the heck is going on. Like, people have been anime fans and manga fans have been very discriminated against for a very long time, and we're finally getting in the spotlight. We're finally having our moment where people really enjoy it, and now this happens. Thanks to crazy moms going overboard, we got Adam West Batman. Yep. In 2019, a concerned mother of a student at Markham Intermediate School in Staten Island, New York, complained about the series' references to classroom violence, which in turn resulted in the manga being pulled from the library's shelves. Go to Barnes & Noble. My biggest thing was it should have never been in that library, and I would love to know how it got there and who thought it was a good idea to do that. The mother, who wished to remain anonymous, explained to... She remained anonymous because her kid would probably flip their mind to understand. James Patterson, a teen author, it's got a rating system for a reason. There are classics in the library all the time. The Count of Monte Cristo, Shakespeare, so many different classic novels contain acts of violence. The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games. You let your kids read that? What about Twilight? Has depictions of sexual content and violence. That was fine. Anyway. Yeah, he blows up the moon. That's how he makes his statement. As of writing, Okay, so that's a short article. Wow. But yeah, speaking of Batman, the next article is gonna go into Batman Batman adjacent things. Span of 5 seconds, everyone understood. The only thing that we can do... Yeah, we can't even flee to the other side of the planet. Basically, he has super sonic speed. He's super strength. He's got many tentacles. He can regrow his tentacles. Like, he is basically unbeatable, but his only weakness is rubber. Let's get rid of things that have the word school and assassination, but we'll keep all the books about grooming kids. Yep. Yup. But speaking of Batman, I've got another article. Longtime Batman writer Chuck Dixon. I don't see the woke going away. Hopefully that's debatable. Longtime Batman writer and the creator of the villain Bane recently shared his opinion that he does not see the woke entertainment going away anytime soon. Dixon shared his thoughts in the 134th episode of Ask Chuck Dixon when he was asked by fan Greg Waller, do you see the pendulum swinging back in the direction of less wokeism and leftist agenda in comics or movies or TVs, etc.? In general, or is it here to stay, or does it get even worse? This is the YouTube video. Ask Chuck Dixon. I'm gonna give my opinion on that real fast. I think it will. I think it'll eventually go away. I think it's probably going to take about 10, 15, if not 20 years. But I think it's going to go away. If society survives long enough for that. Because I know a lot of people are starting to get fed up. I've seen a lot of people starting to get fed up with what's going on in our society. But I don't know. I don't think it's here to stay forever. But I also am of the opinion that usually nothing stays forever. Maybe a very, very long time, but not forever. Civilizations have risen and fallen. I don't think this is going to last forever. I think that what might happen, worst case scenario, all of civilization falls. And we go through kind of a period of a dark age for maybe a couple hundred years and then come back. In the post-nuclear Holocaust, we'll have non-woke sock puppet theater. Yes! Non-woke sock puppet theater. How are you doing, Salty? How art thou, good sir? Dixon answered, I don't see the woke going away. I really thought that with Discovery Channel taking over Warner's and cleaning house a bit, and Paramount making it clear that they are not interested in pandering to any particular political ideology, and a number of other outlets making changes and firing people who were clearly untalented and only got their positions because their minds were right and the viewpoint of the left-wing intelligentsia. That word. Despite all that, I see more and more woke material appearing. Maybe woke is a demographic now. I think woke is a mental illness that needs to be treated. I think it's a mental illness. I can't think that there are that many people that are looking for this kind of entertainment where you sort of nod along rather than actually enjoying yourself, he asserted. You are just sort of in agreement with what's being presented. Like, I don't find this particularly funny or engaging or suspenseful, but I'm in sync with the creators. To me, that's not entertainment. Certainly not escapist entertainment, right? Intelligent. See ya. Intelligent. I can say automatopoeia, but I can't say that. Go figure. Ooh. He then reiterated, I don't see it going away. And then, of course, you've got a large segment of the population simply isn't aware that they're being propagandized. I can say that. To even when it's extremely obvious that it's pure propaganda. You did. I appreciate the attempt. I tried as well. I'm sorry. I don't know why there are just some words I can't say. Maybe it's because I was born in the South. Or raised in the South. I was born in the Midwest, kind of. Anyway. He then pointed to the Walt Disney Company. Disney in particular seems to have doubled and tripled down on the woke material about sexual identity and this skewed view of America seen through the lens of race alone. Things like that, they've continued to lose just buckets of money. I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars because they adhere to this schedule. Eventually, they're going to stop. They're going to not like losing so much money. Eventually, I hope. That's so nice. I really like. Okay. And I really thought, see, at Warner's, they pulled a lot of the woke material or canceled project that were woke because they knew they were money losers at the beginning, he observed. But I mean, Disney did a major release of Strange World, which contained a lot of really, there's no other way to put it, like grooming aspects for young children. And they released it, marketed it, and everything else. It's I think, their biggest animated feature failure ever. I mean, it lost hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office. No one went to see it. I think there was an active campaign not to go see this movie. Word of mouth, and Disney promoted it as woke, Dixon said. Really? I didn't even hear about this. The hell is this? What the heck is that? I feel like that kid right now in the background. Like, what? What is that? Hold on. I have a thing for that. Can I find it?
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
Hold on. My cat's trying to do things he shouldn't be. I'm going to kill that cat one of these days. Mark my words. Not really. Don't do that. Anyway. He then asked, so I don't know at what point does Disney bring themselves to their knees to a point where they're open to a hostile takeover by another company. I mean, when you are hemorrhaging this much cash, your shareholders have to be looking for a way out, right? I think the last shareholders meeting that I saw, they were not doing well. Dixon then speculated maybe what has to happen to Disney or at Disney is for them to get bought by somebody with some common sense who wants to once again appeal to a general mass audience. Let's face it, Disney is not making art films. They're making films for a mainstream population. They're making movies that everybody should want to go see, not just people who vote the same way or the same people they vote for. And I mean, who gives a damn about any of that in the end? I don't want to watch movies that I agree with the agenda of, movies that are devoid of any real entertainment value, simply because, yeah, I agree with that guy. I appreciate his stand on corporate taxes, so I'm going to watch this movie he made, even though I'm bored stiff. No, obviously, most of the public has rejected this, whether consciously or subconsciously, he noted. I'm going to see if my cat's going to be good because he wants to come up here so bad. Come on, buddy. Are you coming? I guess not. He's like, no, I just want to bother you. Predicting a possible counter to his comments, Dixon said this could all be misinterpreted, that I'm just an old guy and I don't like change and I don't like seeing things happen that are different than what I expected. But nothing could be further from the truth. And this is true for you and it's true for me. I agree. Yeah. Give me a second. Gotta pull. Give me just uno momento. And I'll get you on here, Salty. There you go. I sent you the link, Salty. I'm going to kill my cat. Go away. Anyway, let's see. He went on, we've always had diversity in entertainment, or recent years, recent decades, which we have. We've had diversity in entertainment that reflects social change, and more importantly, reflects who lives here in the United States or what part of the population would be in the story. So we've accepted diversity. Okay. What's up, Salty?
Inclusion. It's not just the diversity, it's the inclusion, and don't forget the equity, Mando.
Don't forget the equity. That's right. That's the important thing. Oh, I forgot to present the screen again. Dang it.
I just come and bust everything up for everybody and then make everybody nuts. That's what I do. Ask Purple Valkyrie, and Wakazashi.
No worries. My cat is pawing at my leg, and every time I go to try and pick him up, he's like, "No, I don't want you to touch me." Paw at my leg.
It's crazy that you're reading this article, Mando, because I just dropped, and I'm not making this about me, I swear to God. I just dropped a video this morning talking about this very same thing. And interestingly enough, Elijah Woods talking about the Warner Brothers movies. Did you see that? It was in GQ magazine, picked up by Deadline. And he sounds exactly like Chuck Dixon, except low key. You know what I mean? Like, it's important that whoever they bring in to do these movies has to love and appreciate the source material, and that Jackson's movies came from a place where this person passionately loved what they were doing, and it wasn't just about making money. And here we are.
Right?
And the irony, dude, is that they're not making any money doing any of this, except, and this is why I wanted to jump on your show, all of these investment banks are giving them better ratings for their stock and buying their stock, not based on profitability, because the product they make is successful, it makes money, that people love it, but because it hits what the bank has created as far as this artificial reality of environmental, social, and governance scores and corporate equity index stuff. So here we are. We're in this bizarro world with agendas being pushed that nobody wants, yet these companies' stock prices are artificially inflated by creating this transhumanist agenda. So Dixon nails it. Dude.
Agreed. That is crazy. I hadn't seen your video yet this morning. Usually, I try and make sure all of my articles are good and read a couple of them beforehand and get ready for the stream. So I hadn't had a chance yet. Dude, but yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, and I've tried not to think about the Rings of Power for a long time. I spent a lot of money on therapy trying to forget about there's a tempest in me, right? and going back and making a video and doing some caps of the Rings of Power, as a dispassionate observer, like when you look at footage of Hiroshima being blown up during World War II, you're very removed from it as opposed to being right there when the bomb went off. It's crazy. It's crazy to look at this and then say that and use the word Tolkien in the same sentence as a product like that. Now, you mentioned that Disney movie that was ultra woke, Strange Worlds or whatever it was.
Right.
That movie cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make. There was low-key marketing that went behind it as well. And literally, it made probably 35 cents. It made 35 cents globally, and not net, but Disney lost their shirt on this movie. It made nothing. It lost hundreds. I think it was at least $200 million.
That's the thing.
They could have just gave you and I $50 million each, and they would have saved themselves $100 million, Mando.
Right? We could write better stuff than that. Come on.
Dude, I could have grabbed my action figures back here and made a little home movie, and more people would have went and saw that. And maybe incorporated a post-apocalyptic sock puppet like I talked about earlier, and it probably would have taken off.
I mean, Star Wars was also just a parody of itself. They had Jack Black and so on. What is that? I think Saturday Night Live does better comedy than that.
I agree. I mean, I think there's a fine line where once they turned on the Hadron Collider, that everything kind of went weird and crazy, right? Okay, conspiracy theory. I do a woo-woo show with Purple Valkyrie every Wednesday. Mm-hmm. But you can't deny this crazy unreality of why are these big banks so interested in propping up agendas that nobody seems to want? You know, in
Mhm.
entertainment, we've been seeing it since Orange Man bad bullshit started, and they haven't stopped. You know, and
Orange Man is
it's
still bad.
well, I mean, God bless Orange Man. I'm just gonna say that. But here we are, and it's funny because I actually watched a show that I've gotten very jaded. I know that may shock people, but I've gotten very jaded as even wanted to try new things because I'm waiting for the rug to be pulled out from under. Like, oh look, there's our Mary Sue, or oh look, there's our forced representation victimhood narrative that's shoved into his story, right? But you know what blew my mind? And Mando, have you seen this? Primal. Have you seen Primal? The animated
I saw an episode of Primal and I enjoyed it. I don't know where it's at though. I saw it like on YouTube.
I think it's on Max or HBO Max. Purple Valkyrie knows. But I gotta tell you, if you are wandering in the desert like Moses, and you want to come across a burning bush of goodness, that would be Primal. It's so good. It fills your soul. It's like Conan with dinosaurs, and there's no dialogue.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I've for sure seen that.
All right, I'm gonna shut up. You can read your article.
Oh no, you're good. I might ask you to entertain the chat while I go shut my door so the cat doesn't continue to chew on things and distract
That's what
me.
I do. Hi, my name is Salty Texas. See, Salty Texas. My name is Salty Traveling. See, I haven't had enough coffee, and I'm gonna be entertaining you with the sock puppets here in the post-entertainment apocalypse while Mando goes to do cat-related things. Purple Valkyrie says the last year for normal entertainment was 2016. I think that's fair. Jacob Ironside says, I like the annoyance of Salty, like salt in the wounds of woke people. How many woke people are there really? I mean, are there really? Because they sure as hell don't seem to go to the movies or don't seem to watch streaming shows. It's almost like the woke people are Amish, like they don't have access to money to go buy things or money to go see movies or televisions to watch all of these shows that are made for them on television. It's bizarre. It's almost like they don't really exist. And this is just a forced narrative. It's crazy.
There's a bunch of woo-woo things. 2016 was the last normal year. Same. That was the last normal year I remember as well.
Yeah.
I graduated college in 2016.
Holy cow. Wow, I was 46 years old in 2016. All right, continue your article. Yeah. Hashtag Salty's old. Hashtag Salty's old. Continue your article.
Let's see. So we've accepted diversity without being told it was diversity, without being told we're better people because we've accepted it, Dixon noted. We've just been presented with entertainment that didn't have a message, didn't have an ideology, and just happened to want to appeal to a wider audience, wanted to appeal to everybody. So it includes everybody in its entertainment, and it's not scolding or trying to virtue signal or whatever it just is. Static Shock, Teen Titans, the Justice League.
Yeah. I remember, and this was when dinosaurs roamed the earth in 1980. I think it was 80. When The Empire Strikes Back came out. And guess what? There was an African-American gentleman in there, okay? And it was Billy D. Williams playing Lando Calrissian. So let me tell you what happened. It was a great movie. Nobody talked about the fact that Billy D. Williams was black, that Billy D. Williams was the first anything to be in anything, and nobody cared. What we cared about is a great story, because, spoiler alert, there were tons of people of different cultures and ethnicities and religious beliefs and political affiliations in every effing movie that had come out before that as well. The 1970s was rife with fantastically diverse casts. But the thing was, we didn't look at this through the Marxist lens of superficial qualities, okay? We just saw great movies. Bill Cosby, all right, hashtag insert joke, I'll wait for it. But he, Richard Pryor, okay, throughout the 70s made absolutely fantastic movies, and nobody, even small children, went, what is that black guy doing on the screen? I'm a racist, I can't watch this. That never
Sanford
happened.
and Son was one of my favorites. Steve Urkel.
I know. I know.
one of my favorites growing up, man. Like, I didn't care if he was black.
You had Webster, you had Different Strokes. These were and not only that, but one of my favorite shows was something called Good Times. That was about a working class Chicago family putting up with actual racism from within their own community and dealing
I
with
think
how
I've seen bits and pieces.
and dealing with the poverty in the place they were stuck because they lived in a liberal shithole of Chicago, and what it was like to try and survive and keep their kids on the straight and narrow so they could grow up and be something. Now, that story of aspiration, that story of do the right thing, have good ethics, has been replaced with you're a victim, don't try, go burn down the Wendy's. You know what I mean? And look where that's going.
Yeah, that poor Wendy's employee, man. Like, they're just trying to make a living, you jerks.
I tell you what, when we train our SEAL teams for the United States military, we should not send them to basic or advanced training. We should send them to Waffle House, because apparently Waffle House is where you learn true hand-to-hand combat.
My God, like, there have been some amazing Waffle Houses that I've been to, but yeah, I knew they knew what to do with a knife. They could pokey you. Yes, they are. I don't know why people want to keep listening to the minority and the bots and stuff. Do we need a tyrant?
Response. Go ahead.
Do we need a tirade invasion of Earth or an asteroid hit the Earth?
I'm cool with that. I'm actually okay with that.
I'm fine with an invasion. They're probably going to try and dissect our brains anyway. I'd like to know what the heck is going on with the human brain that's recently anyway.
Why? We have to talk about this at some point. Maybe if not on this show, maybe on a woo-woo show. But it is fascinating. I've covered how much of the human brain is actually used and what is actually extra sensory perception with Purple Valkyrie. You know, I think for me, because I'm old, I mean, I'm 53, which is weird. There seems to be a very deep demarcation where every generation, including myself and before, for thousands of years, kind of reacted in the same way and kind of existed in physical reality. And there seems to be this demarcation of, I don't know how else to say it, but younger people whose brains do not function the same way mine, my parents, my grandparents, great-grandparents did, in reacting to things in physical space. And I don't know what that is. I mean, should we blame the Gates Foundation for what they did? I don't know.
Oh, I mispronounced the word. Tyrannid?
Wait, not a tirade. Tyrannid.
Tyrannid. Thank you.
Tyrannid.
What's up, Charlie? You're a pup. Man, if you existed with the dinosaurs, you must have existed with Noah's Ark, man.
Dude, I've still got a Triceratops I keep out back. I kept one, because they're cool dinosaurs, right? So
they're pretty cool.
I'll shut up. I'll let you do your article, dude.
It's all good. All right. I mean, we like the character of Storm because she's a badass. Hell yeah. He opened? I don't know. When I think of Storm, and I'm not a big X-Men fan.
Opined. He opined. He expressed an opinion. And it was intelligentsia, by the way.
For knowing Greek, I'm struggling today. Let's see. When Storm was introduced, I was reading the title. Everybody was reading X-Men at that point. It was the peak of its popularity, and everybody who was reading comics was reading X-Men. And they introduced Storm, and Storm eventually became the leader of the X-Men. And they didn't push in our face, she's the first black woman to be leader of it. They didn't think of it. We didn't think of it. It didn't matter.
We didn't. But we didn't. I mean, what Chuck Dixon is saying, and I would like to talk to him at some point. Of course, I want to talk to him about Wheel of Time, but he doesn't want to talk about it at all because he was very traumatized by working with that author. But I mean, I was a 70s, 80s kid. And again, as a child, you're like, oh, look, it's a person who looks different than me. But that's about it. And you're like, oh, Richard Pryor's funny. You know what I mean? Bill Cosby's funny. Storm is a great character. I used to buy comic books and I didn't go, oh my God, there's an Asian person in here. I'm racist and I'm putting this back on the rack. No, it was like, are the stories any good? Was the cover any good? What are my friends saying about this awesome story and kicking ass? And instead, we've got this bizarro world cover of mediocre talent with mediocre effort trying to push an agenda into things. And we've talked about all this stuff a million times, but what it comes down to is it's not very good. And the only defense they have for the not very good is to say you don't like it because we put a person of this color or sexuality in it, and therefore that's the reason you don't like it. And then here's the trap. We respond. We respond and go, yeah, you know, like, and rightfully so, because we're being accused of something we didn't do. And then they laugh at us because the whole point of them making this crap to begin with is to provoke us to respond. And then we give them free marketing and help spread their message of all of this nonsense. And that's why I took a month off of YouTube. Because I'm like, I'm like a trained SEAL. Every time something woke and idiotic comes out, I'm making a video about it. And all I'm doing is generating buzz for this show, which no one's watching it. Nobody's watching Star Wars. Nobody's watching the MCU. Nobody's going to see these Disney movies. Look at what Mario Brothers did. That's insane. It's insane. Look what John Wick did.
Right? John Wick is amazing. I haven't seen the new one yet, though. I want to. Oh, they're an insect hive mind that come and consume planets and biome. Oh, from Warhammer. Okay.
Oh, right on, dude. Right on. All right.
I still haven't seen read or seen any of the Warhammer. No, you're good. Let's see. Dixon continues. Storm originally within the story rose to be the leader of the X-Men because she was a really, really cool character with an interesting background, three-dimensionally realized. Okay. And everything else. And everybody liked Storm, and it didn't matter what color she was. And this is true. And that's what creators today seem to forget. They think they're fighting against racism by promoting stereotypes. It's really rather sick when you think about it. And there's these token, vapid, cardboard cutout racial stereotypes or archetypes. It's tedious, it's boring, and it's not entertaining, he concluded. Agreed.
And I think what they're doing is they're doing what they were taught to think.
Mm-hmm.
And again, going back to my generation and every generation before us, the reason why Western civilization advanced was you were not taught what to think. Totalitarian regimes do that. Communist China does that. Critical thinking enables you to analyze data, inform your own opinion based upon what's true. What I think is happening, and the people that are being hired because they've been taught what to think. And so all they're doing is regurgitating the message or this false narrative of all of these ists and phobes and all this other stuff. And then they turn around and go to their mommy or daddy figure because they're emotionally stunted and go, look, I made a poopy. Tell me my poopy looks great. And then the rest of us are like, it's just a poopy. You know, it's a dumb, like, why would be excited about a poopy?
Right. Oh, we're excited when they're like 1 year old and they finally are potty trained or something. That's when we're excited, when we're supposed to be excited.
Yeah.
This image is cursed. It's hard to argue with Dixon's observation that woke entertainment is not going away anytime soon. One needs to only look at the most recent trailers for upcoming 2023 films. Paramount Pictures' Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem not only race swapped April O'Neil, Redhead Lives Matter, Ginger Lives Matter, but also made her into a body positive character.
Yay.
April O'Neil was freaking hot, and she was athletic, and she was a redhead.
Yes.
Stop the ginger side.
Well, I mean, the thing about that is my brother was way deep into TMNT, and he got those original line art on pulp paper Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic books. And so I grew up reading these, loving these stories, going, oh my God, you got Leonardo Donatello and Michelangelo, and you got, it's just all of it. It was a great new story, and it was a product of the 80s. And now we're like retconning it into, how can we make it into dumpy, wannabe communists that go to Smith College? And it's like, what the hell are we doing here? I mean, this doesn't make this more relatable or accessible for anyone except maybe a tiny, tiny fraction of people who are from an upper middle class background who hate themselves. There's really no other way to put it. And actually, I have for you a ginger side list of characters if you would like to show them.
Yep. Give me a second.
Roger that. So these are all of the red-headed characters to date that have been nuked from space. Look at all of these gingers, all of these redheads. Now, I have a redhead thing. And I know you're married, so don't take that the wrong way. But it's like, dude, this is undeniable.
Though, like, people are like, oh no, it's not that many.
Yeah, I can't do math, but I'm guessing this is like close to 30 or 40, you know?
At least.
I mean, look at this. All of, and regardless of gender. I mean, and it seems to be only going one direction. You know what I mean? It's not like they're making redheaded people like, you know, Vietnamese or something else. It's like, no, we have to make them beige or something. And it's like, imagine living your life, Mando, where whenever you see somebody, you're like, you know what? That's racist. We need to arbitrarily stick someone over here from an underrepresented minority group and put them into this, because then I will have corrected some great wrong in the world. How pathetic is that? How absolutely disgustingly sociopathic is that?
Right? Like, I didn't even realize that they had been, like, how many it was, because I of course I see it all the time, like, this other ginger has been replaced, but now, like, to actually, like, see the image, it's like, wait a second. Wait a second.
Yeah. I just thought I'd share that out there. I'll take it off screen, but it's a high body count, and it's definitely genocide.
Yep.
Oh,
people.
Shit.
Wrong button.
Dude, I'm like totally just hanging out in the dark in my studio. So
I've done that before. It's fine.
YouTube. Clothes.
All right. It's not just Paramount Pictures. I forgot to reshare my screen. Dang it.
It's because I mess everybody's stream up by doing that. So.
It's not just Paramount Pictures, as Dixon observed. The Walt Disney Company has tripled down on the woke. Upcoming releases from the company includes race-swapped Ariel in their Little Mermaid live-action adaptation. They also race-swapped Tinkerbell in their upcoming Peter Pan and Wendy Disney Plus film that also added girls to the Lost Boys.
Who cares? Like, is anybody even gonna go near this thing? Is anybody gonna go see this?
I'm not.
I mean, and not just people in our sphere. I've gotten into it with some people that I didn't know who are younger than me, saying you're part of an echo chamber and repeating what everybody else says. It's like, no, not really. What I'm doing is I'm telling you this is garbage, and here's the reason why. It has nothing to do with the fact that you just want to arbitrarily replace everybody with this, I guess, more diverse crew. It's because the effects are bad. The songs aren't as good. The songs aren't as good. The special effects aren't as good. And there's agenda which represents 2023 in it, you know, which means in 2024, this movie is disposable. This movie has no value because it doesn't have the du jour agenda. You know, we went through it with BLM the year before, and then all women and, you know, like girl power this. Now we've entered the trans and climate change portion of the narrative. So all of those other movies essentially are undoing the fact that women are strong. Now you can't even define what a woman is.
Right.
So it's like, dude, all of this entertainment, they talk about, you know, I just, where does it stop? I don't know. I think with them making movies about how we need to start getting rid of old people and put them into chambers and make them go away for climate change. I think that will be probably in a couple of years, they're going to say we need to have eugenics. What's that?
1984.
Dude. And again, you know, dude, the thing about this is you don't need to, I don't sit in a basement, you know, constantly disassembling, you know, a firearm, you know, while singing the Marine Corps anthem. You know, I'm not some crazy conspiracy theory. What I'm using critical thinking. Where does this go? Based upon current events in experience and trajectory, and then what these investments banks have said they're going to do, that's where it's going, and nobody's buying it. So what do? You're right. How does Disney, Paramount, Warner Brothers, all these people who are on that ESG train of making crap movies nobody's seeing, how do they survive this? I don't know, but they're not going to stop doing it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not.
And eventually the tracks will run out.
Yeah. I mean, whatever they're doing right now won't get made for 3 to 5 years, which means best case scenario is in 5 years, maybe 5 years, things will turn around. I don't think and know if it's going to happen, but I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying maybe people will look at Mario Brothers or John Wick or Top Gun, Maverick, and go, holy shit, I like money. Can I make some money, please? And maybe
right.
But I don't see it happening yet.
All right. Warner Brothers Discovery is also pushing woke. Yes. There's a part of me that kind of wants to burn down Warner Brothers, but if the War of the Rohirrim is good, I might not make deal on that promise. But it's not a promise. Please, YouTube. I'm not going to do that.
God, please be good. I really want that to be good.
If it's not, I will start rioting. Not really. I'll peacefully protest.
I'll meet you at Waffle House.
Yeah. Woke content in the form of environmentalism. Actor Jason Momoa, who approved of the destruction of property amid the riots of 2020, you mean the peaceful protests, revealed the upcoming Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom film includes a lengthy lecture on environment.
Yeah, that's DOA. That's as DOA as the Marvels is, and they know it. And the other thing.
Well, it's got the famous Johnny Depp ex-wife person in it that nobody likes.
The poster child for "Don't Stick Your Dick in Crazy" is what you're saying. Yes. Yeah.
Yep. She should have been yeeted off, but anyway. He told Variety, "The beautiful thing is that me and my partner wrote the first treatment for it, about a 55-page treatment. And a lot of it has to deal with me talking to the UN expediting what's going to be happening with the melting ice caps."
Yeah, that's not happening, unfortunately. But hey, do your own research. Don't believe an idiot like me on YouTube. Go look at ice flows, go look at ice pack, go look at snowfall, go look at rain. Also look at the manipulation of median temperatures, and then also look at the funding behind the IIC's work and what their mission was. It was not to find what was happening, it was to find warming. It was to find change. And if you didn't find change, you didn't get money. Maybe the two are connected.
But that'd be conspiracy theoretical stuff.
Conspiracy fact. Yeah, I can't wait to not see Aquaman 2 with Amber being preached to about all the plastic in the ocean. Interesting fact, though, do you know where 98% of the plastic pollution in the ocean comes from? This is China and Asia.
China.
So don't talk to me about that. Don't
right.
Don't talk to me.
There's no far-off galaxy coming to destroy us. There's no alien from another planet. It's really just the idea of us ruining our planet, he added. And the fact that we all need to get it together to save our home.
Oh boy, maybe we need a one-world government with digital IDs and digital currency. And then maybe we can all live in the Matrix and be controlled and have a social credit system like China, because that'll save polar bears. I
feel like me reading 1984, because I never quite finished it beforehand, but I'm rereading it. I'm just like, oh my God, it's an instruction manual for these psychopaths.
It kind of is. I wonder how many women in that picture have a penis. I'm just saying, now that I'm seeing that.
I think the one on the end with the black dress.
Okay.
I think that one.
I'll trust your female intuition on that one.
I think she's too skinny. Yeah, she's got that slit. Okay. She wouldn't be packing if she had that slit. She'd be wearing some kind of other dress.
That's a word men do not use on YouTube, so it's great to hear you use it.
Universal Pictures distributed 2 of the wokest films of 2022 with Billy Rose film, which attempted to paint the grave sin of sodomy. I gotta tell you, I did a video on that before it came out, and it actually, a lot of people watched it. My video reaction, because I went to go see Elvis, that movie Elvis, and I was in a theater in rural
West Texas, loaded with people come to see Elvis. You know what I mean? Lots of cowboy hats, belt buckles, boots, the whole thing. And let me tell you what, we all sit down, the lights come on, and then they roll the bros, making fun of white people and making fun of Christianity and making fun of America, all these little gay New York jokes and trans jokes, and the theater was dead silent. I mean, this was a huge theater too, and I knew at that moment this movie was going to crash and burn. And this is another one of those movies that didn't even make 10% of what it was supposed to make. Nobody watched this movie. Nobody.
Well, of course not. The film studio also pushed out the 355. I didn't even hear of that.
Yeah, that was another movie that didn't even make 5% of its budget back. That was a girl power knockoff of Ocean's 11, where they're all a spy agency, and of course, men are bad.
Charlie's Angels, old-fashioned Charlie's Angels. That's all I needed for my girl power, but let's see. Jessica Chastain said of the movie New York Comic Con, my goals and dreams for the 355 is that we just accept the fact that women are awesome and tough and badass. She added, I'm excited for society to start acknowledging what's happening in our world.
I know. You know, I lived through the 90s, and let me tell you about the 90s. We had gay people, and I had gay friends, and I still have gay friends, and nobody cared. What we didn't have was a lot of dudes wearing dresses and saying they have to call me Sally, which is,
right?
You know, whatever.
I miss the 90s. Let's bring them back.
We didn't really have all of these challenges that they say. And then you had a bunch of people miseducate an entire generation to tell them that all these things that happened maybe in the 50s and 60s and 70s are still here. And then you've got an entire generation being told that all these ills and pitfalls and things don't exist, in burning down entire cities. Who's benefiting from all that? That's the question we have to ask. Who's benefiting from creating this chaos? And I think it rhymes with China.
Maybe. Woke entertainment isn't going anywhere. It might be losing money hand over fist, but the individuals making creative decisions at these companies are less motivated by their film's monetary success and more motivated on how they can propagandize. Why can I say that? But other words I can't. Anyway, to the next generation and spread their objectively evil ideologies. What do you think of Dixon's comments? I think I don't think it's gonna, I think it will eventually go away. I think that this is gonna last I think long ball, worst case scenario, 10, 15, 20 years. But I think that, I don't know, some of the younger, the ones that are still in elementary school and stuff like that, I think they're a lot smarter than some people give them credit for. And some of them just aren't about this. I don't know.
I agree. I think what's happening is, again, big tech is continuing to push a narrative, and the reality of it, much like, let's say, election results, is vastly different from the reality on the ground. And so I'm seeing pushback from this from people in their 20s who they've literally tuned out of this. They're like, this isn't real and I don't care. And then look at younger kids. I know Prophet of the Dragon, my friend Steve, has a 12-year-old son and I think a 14-year-old girl. Now, what's disturbing about that is, the impact of the constant barrage of the trans messaging, but they don't care about this. And here's the thing, they don't care about Star Wars. They don't care about Star Trek. They don't care about any of these properties that have been hijacked in any way. Now, was that the goal, to destroy social and cultural cohesion? I don't know. But if they're going to continue to use these things, these platforms that are for older generations, like Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, all these things, and they're going to force this messaging and thinking that younger people are watching, they're wrong. And so where does this go? It's literally a negative game. I mean, Doctor Who, it hurts my heart what they've done with that. I've loved Doctor Who 40 years, and now here we are,
Yup. And I've loved, Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Chronicles of Narnia and Harry Potter. I've loved stuff for a long time, and I hate to see what they've done to Star Wars. Like the Mandalorian show, like it makes me like, if I cared about Star Wars still, which I stopped caring a long time ago, I would probably have lost my mind, crying, screaming, like, what have they done to the Mandos? Because like that first episode of season 3, there's a giant crocodile and a platoon of Mandos couldn't take it out.
Right. Sure.
3 Mandos should have been able to get that thing done in a heartbeat. Like, what? Like,
well, the crazy thing is, there seems to be a blueprint for how to do this, and whether it's The Witcher or Star Trek or Star Wars or Doctor Who, and not just the agenda, but the mediocre of story. So there's not actually a 3 or 4 act play. You know, you have a prologue, you have an inciting incident, you have conflict, you have resolution, you have postscript, right? Where it's a natural story. They're not even telling stories. They're like, shit explodes, people blow up, girl boss, whatever, insert baby Grogu, and then oh yeah, there's Lizzo at the buffet. And it's like, there you go. There's your Star Wars. And if you don't like it, you're afraid of strong, independent African-American women. It's like, I don't think anybody's buying this. And the other thing is, I think based upon YouTube viewing numbers, people don't even want to hear people reacting to these shows anymore, whether it be Star Trek, Doctor Who, Star Wars, any of this. People are so tuned out, they don't even want the schadenfreude of reacting to these terrible shows. They literally don't care. I don't know. For me, Star Wars, it really should have just ended at Return of the Jedi. I desperately wanted to see what was in the books and canon with Luke coming back and starting the Jedi Order. We're never going to get that, and that sucks. You know, the prequels, I was disappointed. I didn't like the prequels. I do think Revenge of the Sith turned it around. I think that it could have been one movie, just Revenge of the Sith, and then if they wanted to do a prequel. But here we are. And now we're going to get pregnant Rey, girl boss. I hope she's in a lesbian relationship. And I hope that we're going to talk about space communism and eating bugs, because that's all these entertainment companies are doing, is essentially a checklist of very predictable, very boring agenda on this stuff. Agreed.
So for the final thing, something to kind of cleanse our palates a little bit, because this is technically kind of a book literary thingamabobber stream. I went to Reader's Digest to look at the 21 classic books everyone should read at least once, because I'm reading 1984 and I'm planning on reading more classic books. And I've got also an announcement towards, like, once we're all done, that's going to be happening this summer, and I'm super excited for the intentional misuse. Yes. All right, so 21 classic books everyone should read at least once. We're going to see if we agree with this, or if we would change something out or add a different thing or whatnot. So the first one, The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I've never even heard of this book. How is it a classic?
This was a book that we had a choice to read in the 80s, or you could read James Baldwin or some other books about what was then the African American experience. I think this book has literary value, despite its affiliation with Oprah. I wouldn't have it on my must-read list, but that's just me.
Okay. Yeah, I've never even heard, like, for me, if it's a classic, everyone has heard of it. I have not heard of this.
Yeah, but they have to redefine what's classic to remove Western civilization, the nuclear family, heterosexuality, Christianity from the playbook. It has to be, again, say it with me, intersectionality overlaid on all of this.
All right. So I'm not going to worry about that. The Great Gatsby. Now that I agreed with.
I agree. It's a great book. I read that for AP English and did a major report on it. I think F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote some fantastic things. The Great Gatsby is one of those books that everyone should have read in middle school or high school.
I actually didn't.
I recommend it. I really do. Fitzgerald wrote some other great stuff, but it's a moment in time. It's based upon the decadence in America in the 20s, as industrialization occurs and nouveau riche people, and then you've got gangsters and prohibition money and love and drama and class envy. So it's a moment in time, and I think it's a relevant book to understand some of the history of America.
All right. I'm planning on buying it soon anyway, but that's just got me more motivated to buy it. The intentional misuse of investors' money is literally a criminal act that isn't prosecuted. I agree. Let's see. This one is another one I haven't heard of. Their eyes were watching God.
No. This was something that was we looked at in college. I had to sit through a lot of these things. I don't think that you have to read this book. Now, if you want to become a leftist, read this book. I don't think.
Oh, it's endorsed by Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, I honestly don't think this book is a must read. I don't.
Agreed, because like that's it. Like one of my definitions for a classic is that it was either required reading in school or back in school, or everyone has heard of the book. That's kind of my two main things. And if I've heard of most books because I'm a booker. Yep. So now this one's another one. It's Oprah's 100 Years of Salt. I thought I at first was like 100 Years a Slave. Okay. I didn't know it was a book.
No,
never mind.
Gabriel Garcia Marquez. This is a great book. Is it a must read? I don't know. That's debatable. I think there are other works of fiction that are worthy as well, but this is a good book. I will say that. Okay. I might give that one a shot then. Yeah, Fitzgerald wrote a lot. Agreed. We had to pay for his crazy wife and their drinking and drug addictions back in the day. It's a true story. He went broke. Pride and Prejudice. Yes, I'm actually getting this book. I think it should be coming soon, but I am also going to be reading this book. This is, I would consider, a classic. Yes, I agree. And it used to be one of the reasons why like I knew it was a classic was because it was Penguin Classics. They used to be like really like top tier. Like they only had like called it a classic if it was a classic. But yeah, Pride and Prejudice. If you haven't heard of it. Yeah. Where have you been living? Under a rock? Like what? Yeah. There's also a fantastic from the 90s A&E miniseries that is a wonderful watch as well for this. Agreed. And I think they also made a movie, like an old 30s, 40s movie or something, I think. There's multiple versions of this, including ones that came out in the 90s that are semi-worthy. Okay. All right. The Catcher of the Rye. I've heard of this, but I never read it. Salinger. So this is a moment in time from the 60s. And what it is this was in the same sort of a vein as The Graduate. It was that same sort of youth rebellion, showing what it was like, upper middle income angst, trying to, have sex with a girl. It was a very situational 1960s transition from traditional stuff of the 40s and 50s through the 60s. So it's to me, I think it's a very important read, but it needs to be understood in the context of literature. I don't think it's the best work ever written, however. I will say that. Okay. I'll put it on my possible reading list. Frankenstein. Ooh. It's a good book. Shelley is a good writer. I mean, she was hanging out with a lot of the other writers at the time, and of course I haven't had enough coffee to get my smart brain side kicked in, but it's actually a really good read. The original text, I recommend it highly. Same. It's been a long time, but I've read it as well, and definitely this was also the phase when I was reading a lot of Edgar Allan Poe as well. Yeah, you can't beat Poe. And the other thing, the other author from that time period that's incredibly overlooked is Conan Doyle, who did Sherlock Holmes. But he did more than Sherlock Holmes. He did the Professor Challenger books, which are absolutely awesome early science fiction. That's also like, I haven't seen Sherlock Holmes like on these, like those other two books. I think you could just yeet them and put Sherlock Holmes there, but it's just me. I agree. And Sherlock Holmes is beloved around the globe. I mean, you've got the Bible, you've got Tolkien, and then you've got, believe it or not, Jack London, who better be on this list, and then Conan Doyle as well. James Baldwin, Go Tell It on the Mountain. Of course. Yeah, this is another book that we read in the high school in the 80s, did a report on it for the importance of what was the emerging African-American experience from a certain period in history. Okay. To me, it is an academic study. I don't think it's a great book that should be read by everybody, but that's me. Yeah. Interesting. The House of Spirits. This is also the Japanese. Okay. Maybe that's why I haven't heard of it, but
I haven't heard of this one either.
I don't know what the hell this is. Don't know.
It shouldn't be on the classics list then. If we haven't heard it, like, it shouldn't be on the classics, but okay.
It sounds like Oprah's pimping this, so they want people to buy it.
Probably. 1982 novel, best-selling Spanish language. Oh, it's Spanish. Oh, why does this thing happen to me? Okay, whatever. Rose Brown, 3 generations women, including matriarch. Oh, communes with spirit. Feminism. No,
so it's practical magic in Spanish. Okay.
Basically. 1984, which is what I'm reading right now.
Yep. Must read.
Must read. Abso-frickin-lutely.
Oh, God. Sorry. I'm getting a sense that there's an agenda behind this list, Mando. I don't have a lot of use for Toni Morrison. I'm just going to say that. So I'm out on this one.
But Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is just some old white guy colonizer.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I got to tell you, I mean, I actually just bought a huge oversized leather collection of all of Conan Doyle Sherlock Holmes books with the original illustrations. And you can pick up a Sherlock Holmes book and read the prose, and it's like you're having a conversation in the 21st century. It's kind of weird. It's like Conan Doyle was a time traveler because of the vernacular and the pacing of his prose.
Yeah, Lord Byron and John.
Yes.
What can't I say? Yeah, they did hang out with Shelley. Yep. Okay, okay. I've not heard of it, so I don't consider it a classic. This I actually recently purchased so I can reread it because it's been too long since I've read it. The Diary of a Young Girl, Anne Frank. Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, I think it's an important book to read, and then this is another one of those books where I think it's important to look at the context of what was going on in the world and understand what a takeaway from this. What happens when you give a totalitarian government who's armed the ability to decide who is a human being and who is not, who has rights and who doesn't? And I think that is unfortunately what we're starting to see in 21st century America. This is an important read.
Absolutely. Very much so. There's actually a movie, it was kind of recently came out about a teacher in a classroom of underprivileged kids where they read through this. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was good.
Yeah, there's also a graphic novel put out by SJWs which turns Anne Frank into a lesbian and focuses on her being a lesbian, which is really terrible because what it does is it diminishes the impact of the actual story and tragedy of what happened to that young girl in Germany during World War II.
Things Fall Apart.
I read this in the 80s. It's an important work. And if memory serves, this has to do with South Africa and South Africa race relations. The problem with this is that this is one of those books that you would read for a context of literature, in general. Okay. I don't think this is a top 20 book, unless you're talking about being in middle school and high school. So
okay, interesting. The House on Mango Street. I've seen this book, but I've never read it.
No. If we don't have Hemingway on this list, if we don't have a whole bunch of other British authors on this list, that book I don't care about. Like, I'm starting to get pissed off.
Nope. We're going to just scroll past that.
No. Sylvia Plath. We had to read that book too. That is about mental illness. And again, a lot of these books are sort of 60s counterculture literature that they're focusing. So this would be proto-SJWism. But this is really about a young woman who has mental illness and depression. And it's a very dark read. Okay. Should you read it? Maybe, but there's a whole stack of other more worthy books in my opinion. And yes, Charlie Stevenson is right. Steinbeck needs to be on this list. It's absolutely insane that he is not.
Let's see. Hey, here we go. I'm also got this book, To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah, it's definitely a good book.
The movie with oh God, what's his name in it? Gregory Peck. It's outstanding.
Yes, I agree. They also say that the women in Jane Austen's books are all I know. It's tragic.
Why not?
Haven't
Never
heard
heard
this
of it.
though.
Oh, give me a break. Jesus.
What is this?
I know what this book is, and this is Bean Flicking Wine Mom. Let's talk about it at the spa while we're getting our nails done. They made this into a movie, which was actually a reasonable movie, but again, you're leaving out some very important authors, and we all know why. They're leaving them out because they are men, because they're Caucasian, and because of what they represent as far as what they call the patriarchy. That patriarchy is, of course, what has given people the ability to sit here and destroy our culture through affluence and education and clean water and everything else. But yeah, should you read this? I think it's a worthy read, but I don't think there's a lot of people. I don't think this is a top 100 book. I don't.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, yeah, Jacob is doing a review this Tuesday on To Kill a Mockingbird movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I've actually been in that stage play too. It's a great story.
Huh. I don't know what this is.
No, I let me guess. I'm not even gonna say what's it about. Let me guess.
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
Yeah. Sure. Let's read this instead of Steinbeck.
No, oh my god.
Oh, Japanese internment. So there you go. It's the intersectional bingo card. Yep. That I agree with. Tolstoy.
Okay.
Tolstoy, absolutely. Anna Karenina is a very, very Dostoevsky. Where's Dostoevsky? Because we want to talk about a warning about what it's like to live under communism and go through revolutions. Read Dostoevsky. Anna Karenina is a good, worthy read. It is a slog.
Okay.
But it is a good, worthy read.
Okay, Little Women. Yes, classic.
Yep.
Oh, that's it. The hell is this list?
You know what I did? I went on Thrift Books, and I'm not pimping that. I wish I was supported by them, but I go and I buy used books every payday, and because I want to flesh out my physical media. And I just got Roger Zelazny's Chronicles of Amber, the complete set of that.
Ooh.
That needs to be on here. Also, of course, cannot recommend enough Andrzej Sapkowski's The Witcher series. Absolutely fantastic. Just
I haven't read that
really
yet, but that's on my list.
writing. There's another book, and I recommend this to everybody. It's called The Drawing of the Dark. Now, this is by a niche 70s and 80s science fiction writer, Tim Powers. Tim Powers did a lot of great books, and kind of in the vein of what Neil Gaiman did, and was peers with Neil Gaiman. So a book that needs to be on this list is Neil Gaiman's American Gods. It's one of my favorite books. I read it several times a year. So not to mention, we don't have anything by Hemingway, by Steinbeck. What's, again,
Lewis and Tolkien?
Lewis, Tolkien, Jack London. There was a moment in time in the early 20th century when Jack London was the richest author in the world. Okay? Everybody read Jack London's stories of adventure in the West and other things like that. Call the Wild is only one of the books that he did, but Jack London, please pick up Jack London. Look at an anthology of his short stories. They're absolutely fantastic. No, instead we've got this is again diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I was hoping they'd at least have a couple, like more than what they had, because I've reviewed Reader's Digest articles in the past, and it was halfway decent. I didn't think that. I was hoping they hadn't gotten completely woke, but I have been wrong before, and I am wrong today.
Well, I mean, we did come up with a list. What is a book? Mando, what do you think somebody should read? What blows your hair back? Like, what is a book that should have been on that list?
I definitely, probably biased, but I love C.S. Lewis, so I was thinking, at least one of the Chronicles of Narnia, like the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yes.
At least, most kids growing up reading that.
The problem is it's not, because it has to do with its magical realism and Christianity. And I think it's the same reason that there's no Tolkien on there as well. There's a long list, and it's not just science fiction and fantasy books that should.
What about the Iliad and the Odyssey? That's also one of my favorites. Those are classic. That's it. Yes.
Gilgamesh. Yeah. Beowulf. Again, but what are those books? They're the cornerstones of Western civilization. And removing those to put in the post-menopausal wine grandma bean flicking diversity, equity, and inclusion bullshit, you know, I guess it's a feel-good moment on social media, but like, what do you take away from those books? Well, most of them are tragedy. Most of them feature what we now call an intersectional victimhood narrative.
Yep. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and shout out your stuff, Salty, because I'm going to make an announcement for later on in the summer. So shout your stuff out.
I'm Salty Traveling C. I sometimes make videos. I dropped a new one today talking about Elijah Wood's reaction to the announcement of Warner Brothers movie and his cautioning about doing it. Thanks for having me on, Linda.
Of course. Yeah, of course. And so the announcement this summer, Smile a While and I and a couple of other panelists are going to be once a month reviewing the Chronicles of Narnia. So starting May 6th, I think is we're still getting some dates hammered down, but we're gonna be reading the nephew or the Magician's Nephew, and we're gonna be reviewing it, a panel. So throughout the whole summer, we're gonna be going through the Chronicles of Narnia books and talking about them, reviewing them. Yeah, and it's gonna be
amazing.
Go ahead.
That's amazing. I'm just going, oh my God, that's amazing.
It's going to be me, Smile a While, Elijah, possibly once in a while a surprise guest, maybe Megan from the Noob Reviews, and I've got another backstage person who says she might be able to come to some, but I'm not going to announce her yet until she's able to do more confirming. But I am so freaking excited for this panel. Like, yes. So please stay tuned for this summer.
This is what we need. And again, I mean, there's reasons why these books are classics, you know, and there's reasons why you could give this book to like my 5-year-old niece and read it to her and she would be immediately engaged because they feature the human experience.
Heck yeah. Dante's Inferno. Yeah, that was another one. I don't know why we forgot it, but yeah, that's definitely another classic. I love The Magician's Nephew. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah, we're going to be going through all of the Chronicles of Narnia in chronological order, not publication order. I know that there's some debate out there. We're doing it in chronological order.
You're nerds. You guys are freaking nerds. Look at you, purists with your source material. I love it.
All right. I think that's going to be it for us today. Tomorrow I will be on Wicked Virtues channel with Unplugged. And thank you once again, Salty, for joining me. Chat, you have been amazing and awesome. Mwah, love you. And once again, stick around for this summer. I'm so excited for going through the Chronicles of Narnia because there are lots of people who actually haven't read any of them. And now is the time. Now is the time. Bye.